Greetings. My name is Tim Wynes. I'm the president of Blackhawk College, and I've been asked to say a few words to the inductees and the faculty. First of all, congratulations to the 27 students that are being inducted into Sigma Kappa Delta, the Honor Society for English students at two-year community colleges and technical colleges. It's a terrific honor. There's requirements that are quite high to get into this organization, to be honored by the society, and you've met those, and that is just a wonderful thing for you to have done. On behalf of Blackhawk College, congratulations. And I also want to thank you for being a student at Blackhawk College. It's been the most interesting of times, and I hope that you come out of this feeling like you've done something really special and unique. I'll talk about that a little bit in just a moment, but I do want to turn to the faculty and say thank you for everything you've done with our students. As the same way that the students had to adjust to a different style of instruction, you're the ones that had to put it together, make the courses and the curriculum work, and make them sing and make them connect with our students. And you did that. You did it on the turn of a dime last spring, refined them during the fall, and have just done an amazing job of connecting your content that you are an expert in with the students at this college. Now, students, when I was in college a very long time ago, one of my instructors on the first day of school said, if you do well in school, when you graduate, you'll have learned three things. You'll learn how to read, write, and analyze. And of course, he meant just not the basics, but in a deep and appreciative way. And I would say to you that same thing applies to you, even all these years later. If you leave Blackhawk, transfer on, or go into employment, and you have mastered the ability to read well, to write well, and to analyze, you have succeeded in college. English department excels at this. By reading and writing well and getting critical feedback on your analytical skills, you will have the skills to do quite well after Blackhawk. As an open access institution, we're deeply interested in making sure whoever comes to our door gets the chance to get an outstanding education and persevere either to employment or to transfer. As you all know, we have experienced a very, very strange, stressful, fatiguing, and interesting time. Over the last year, we have basically seen our lives turned upside down. And while all that was going on, I don't know how you handled it, but one of the things that I did in my off time, since we spent so much time at home, is I compiled a list of books that I was going to read. I didn't make it through all of them by any stretch, but it did cause me to go back and reread things by various writers that covered time periods not unlike this one, just different, but not unlike this one. I hope that you have, during this time period, students, been memorializing what went on in your life during the last year or so. Because for the rest of our lives, we're probably going to talk about this period of time, the pandemic. And I hope that you've either through social media posts, through writings and journals, through other venues that you're comfortable with, blogging, if you do that, whatever the mechanism is that you use, that you've memorialized in some way, shape, or form what you've gone through the last year. I think it'll give you something to look back on, and it'll show that you've made incredible strides and great growth during that time period. But also it'll help you look back and see the things that you've gone through in a different light. With that in mind, as you're still, we're still experiencing the pandemic, we haven't quite exited from it yet. One of the things I'd have you think about is being a good reader makes you a good writer. I'm going to quickly recommend three writers that I think have interesting perspectives on different times. Very quickly, Studs Terkel, who's an Illinois native, lived in Chicago, lived to almost be 100 years old. He won a Pulitzer Prize for his work in nonfiction for a book called Hard Times. He worked exclusively in nonfiction. He was an outstanding interviewer and a journalist for most of his career. And his book, Hard Times, is a series of interviews with people that survived the Depression. Think about a tough time like ours. Depression's one of those times. And if you read Terkel's work on that, which is him basically giving life to the voices of the people that survived it, you'll see many parallels to the lives you're in now. It's entertaining, it's fascinating, it's intriguing, it's heartwarming. It'll make you think. The other person, next writer I'd recommend is James Baldwin. Baldwin grew up in Harlem, traveled the world, and experienced the United States from a perspective that is uniquely his, but also those of the underrepresented and the outsider. You could read his book, If Beale Street Could Talk, or Go Tell It on the Mountain, but also his essays, which are readily available at the New Yorker and other outlets that cover nearly 40 years and show an interesting and intriguing perspective on life that also has a serious social justice bent to it. And in these times, the social justice inquiry is incredibly important. And finally, Annie Proulx. That last name is spelled Proulx. She is most famous for her short story Brokeback Mountain. She also won a Pulitzer Prize for a book called Shifting News. She wrote exclusively, or writes exclusively, about outsiders and their connection to their environment. If you read her work, you will read books and short stories that connect with the surroundings of a person to the way that they react to those and the person that they are, and also the things that are outside their control. Think about how we've lived during the last year and how much of the things we were doing we couldn't control, and we had to live in relatively constricted spaces. The work of Annie Proulx will be enlightening for you in that count. That all said, I hope that you continue to grow as writers, continue to grow as readers, and continue to grow your analytical skills. You have the best people in the world to learn from here at Blackhawk College. Again, congratulations on joining SKD. I wish you well in the future. Take care.